Hello guys and welcome back to another video! I didn't mean to publish any of this information to more users than the few I've already talked to about this on Quotev and I think Discord. But well, I really need to get this out before I lash out at this user and they take it as harassment and get their minions to witch hunt me. Or even block me. However, disclaimer, I know some of you are going to visit my DeviantArt on this matter and seek out this user. Derron, I'm looking at you, even though I've told you about this already. And you know who this person is. Which is fine, and I can stop you, but please do not just go to them and harass them or be mean in any way. I'm pretty sure they're new to a lot of community-related things, or can't really handle the responsibility that comes along with hosting something, so I'm not really mad at them as a person, nor do I know them in person. I'm more mad at what they did. Or rather, not did. To get a major role in this video. This user I'm going to talk about did something, or lack thereof, which somehow got me mad. And it's highly unlikely anyone can really get me mad, because instead of me getting mad at anyone in particular, it's more like I get sad, like overly dramatic sad. And I just start to cry. Yeah, I've been building up my emotions over the years now. So that's the main reason about that. And this user I'm talking about has basically been adding more work onto themselves of the things they still owe others. And if anyone is thinking that I'm caring about this person because I don't like it when they add more work, you're wrong. And a lot of people actually feel the same with this, let's face it. No need to play the card of worry for this one. I'm especially unable to care if this other user still owes me a simple flat art piece. And this is where the little rant or storytime part of the video emerges. And let me say it now, I'm not going to say who this user is because of obvious reasons. Plus, I'm very much aware that they have a greater following than I do. And at least 80% of those people would not believe me and be defending this user. Even though they're not in the right, but okay, it's the internet. Let's call this user KitKat. Yeah, I guess that fits. Okay, so KitKat and I are Undertale trash. Well, they were. Apparently now they're Vocaloid trash, while I'm stuck between the cans of Undertale and Guillotine. But seeing as they still submit art of their Undertale characters occasionally, I believe they still do have a spot for the game after all, especially for their own characters. KitKat is, like I mentioned before, a very popular user in the Undertale community of DeviantArt. And they're friends, or at least online friends, with many active Undertale artists. Or they believe so, since I don't think all of those artists actually see KitKat as an actual friend. The funny thing about this is that they actually had me on their friends list during the time I drew something for them. But then they put me away from their list. Whatever. But let's talk about the art I drew for them, shall we? The very first piece I've ever drawn for them was for the very first contest I participated in. And KitKat was the host. Now, I didn't have quite the time anymore since I only found out about this contest about 1 week before the due date. And so I kind of rushed and pressured myself into drawing at least something. But now I will give you a little information about this contest, and maybe a few of you might even remember this art piece and might recognize KitKat's AU from it. It was a Halloween contest. Yep. And please take into consideration that the contest was last Halloween, because this will be a major point later on. So, the art design I went for was a short yet funny and cute comic. And since the requirement was to draw KitKat's AU characters with your own celebrating, I thought of a little side story in the bookshelf office. Fun fact, that was actually the very first time I ever drew the office from outside, which was difficult to draw. I've spent about 5 to 6 hours on this simple yet difficult to draw for me, at least at that time, comic. And I still got second place for it. I was confused and kinda mad at the moment, but come on, I'm not the one judging, so I can't really get mad at it. Even though it confuses me to this day how I got second place. However, what set me off the most was the prize. The prize for the second place was supposed to be a simple flat artwork. No shading and no real difficulties, just simple line art and simple colors. That's it. I didn't mind that though, At first, KitKat congratulated me by sending a note. At that time, everything was still going smoothly. I gave them the old reference sheet of General, aka Gene, which I've updated last time. Well, twice, since the first link apparently didn't work, which confused me, but okay, I've sent in the URL this time to avoid more errors. The first thing I noticed was that KitKat didn't respond to my note. It was weird since artists I've contacted about art with a note before usually responded with at least a small message to say that they don't have any questions and will be working on this art. Even if it was just an okay. It was weird that this specific user didn't reply, but whatever. They were probably just a user who didn't reply to such messages, and I can understand that. However, now comes the part of the story that gave me a red flag about this user. They never actually finished the contest prize to this day. Some of you might now all be like, "You're just over-exaggerating, Emelin. They probably had no time to draw." Or, "It's just a contest prize, no big deal." But it is a big deal. Well, not that big, I mean. But they basically still owe me a prize they've basically promised by making a frigging contest. As well as the others on their to-do list. For how long now? About 9 months? And at the end of May, I finally got the courage to ask them about the simple flat art piece featuring Gene. My note said this: "Hoifs, excuse me, but I'm still curious. What happened to the contest prize from Halloween? It's been around 6 months now ever since I've sent you Gene's reference sheet, and I think I've waited quite some time for a response." And obviously you could tell that I was trying to be nice and all, because usually when I remind someone of some kind of work, I'm usually using emoticons to express myself and try to be nice. Even though this user gave me a little bit of a red flag already at that time. And I got this reply within the next hours. "I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. It just, I forgot. I'm very sorry. Maybe when I got time I will do it for you. Again, I'm apologize." I can already feel that you're like, "They apologized multiple times, even if it was broken English, explained themselves and were friendly enough to say that they'll do it when they got time to draw. Hell, they even write like they say they mean it. What's your problem, girl? Do you even feel bad for this artist and their assumingly hard work?" And the answer is, no, I don't. You see, I'm an artist myself, and this is just basically a cheap tactic to get away from your previous work. You just avoid it and move on with something you yourself are more interested in. And I have this feeling of avoidance and abandonment many times when I do requests and suggestions as well. And just drop them. Note here, requests and suggestions. Requests and suggestions are not prizes, nor commissions, nor art trades, nor community-based projects. You have the right to drop out of requests and suggestions because you are the one doing all the work, not the requester or suggester. Unless it's a request or suggestion, you do not drop out of work like that without notifying your client or exchange partner. I could understand it if it was a request, which makes one really wonder because they actually once opened requests of a project themselves and only drew the frigging project host / owner of another comic project. But this was not a request. It was a prize. A promised prize. I would have confronted them instantly if the prize was money or were points, of course. But as an artist myself, I gave them the benefit of the doubt and just let them go for a little. That's why I messaged them months later, assuming they had no time to draw. However, apparently they had the time to finish the simple flat art piece of Gene, since they obviously had time to draw their own characters and starting new contests and projects that are also partially not finished. And saying you forgot about the prize is not an excuse. Whenever I forgot something I still owe someone, I always feel bad for at least a month or so. And while I feel bad, I want to at least try my best at finishing this thing I still owe someone. And KitKat didn't even work on the other contest prizes from Halloween. How do I know this? 1, I've gone through their whole gallery to see if they've even submitted something remotely to a prize or requested art by someone. And 2, because they're all still with me on their apparently now old to-do list. But I'm uncertain whether these users actually contacted KitKat themselves or not. Probably not though, since I feel like no one of their watchers actually thought about these scam types of tactics. And I'm saying tactics because the contest prizes are not the only ones they avoid. They also started many community-based projects and collabs, but never actually finished them. Even though I've seen that all, or at least most of the users that weren't listed as finished with their art, already finished their parts months ago. And the worst part about this, they said in a journal, which they deleted with several project journals, that they were depressed. Boy! And I know those people with even remote depression will be like, are you seriously accusing a depressed person for scamming others? Yes, depressed or not, this is not something I support. And I do not respect this user for avoiding their responsibilities as an artist. I mean, even I have many mental breakdowns barely anyone knows about because of the negativity I've collected over the years. Which basically makes me think of many deep and depressing things while I'm bawling my eyes out in silence. And the funny thing about this is, I don't think I'm actually depressed. I've never been diagnosed and I probably never will, because the only times I'm truly depressed is and wish I could die is when I feel so bad about myself that I have to cry. Again. And still, that doesn't stop me from at least trying to work on the thing I still need to work on for someone else. This is so ironic because I just cried a little while writing this part of the script. But honestly, I don't believe Kit Kat is really depressed either. They don't seem like it, at all. I have quite an amount of experiences with actual depressed people and people who only face something difficult in their lives right now. Especially during puberty. Because I feel like this user is about the age of 14 or so. The age of 14 is basically around the years of when you start to feel like garbage and you just want to die. And life is starting to become hell, and just look at the creepypasta fandom, people. I've dropped out of this long ago, but back then I was just like that and just thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a murderer. And if you think you are truly depressed, then go see a doctor. If they diagnose you as depressed, then you're depressed. If not, then no. My theory on this user is that they are basically abusing their audience, also known as their watchers, for even more fame. The thing about DeviantArt is that you don't even need to draw good in order to gain people who stalk your profile page for updates. As long as you have connections with other popular artists and try to be nice and all cute, you don't have to really do anything but to draw for those popular artists, participate in their projects and contests, and then do your own projects and contests. You can even get more commissions this way. This is a thing because people who do not draw or are just starting think they could be friends with this artist as well, or think their art is nothing compared to the superior artist, and they seek for inspiration by following this artist. So basically the chance of getting popular is very high when you have contact to another popular artist. It doesn't even matter if you want to be considered bad at art or not. You'll get more known this way. And through all of the art they receive of their character, they receive more recognition. It would be fine by me, since a lot of artists use this trick, usually not even realizing this. But giving the community nothing in return when they clearly owe people something while continuing to do your own thing isn't really something I can look up to. And I'm truly confused why Kit Kat's watchers haven't even noticed this by now. Even though they've dropped out of many, many things that involve all of those people that look up to them. And I could even go on with this, but I think this is enough for now. And you can just think yourself what to make out of this. It's just a little message for the future, I guess. I don't know. At least now you've got some advice about art and about artists and their responsibilities. Fun fact, as I'm writing this script's outro on the 23rd of August, Kit Kat still hasn't done anything after I've sent them my note. And they continue to even start a new Undertale AU, as well as start a new comic series of this AU, while giving one of their popular Undertale buddies a gift and creating tons of stamps. Basically, they submitted tons of scrap instead of actually working on the things they're supposed to as a community artist. Also, I actually wanted to upload this on Halloween, since it would fit the date of when this all started, as well as because then I'd have something like a special video. But then I got caught up playing Lost Tale with a user I'm constantly messaging whenever he's online, and so I kinda didn't finish editing in time. But actually, I wanted to create this video months before, as you can see in the video. But I never did that. Yeah. And this is the rant/storytime video for today. If you want, I could do another rant or storytime video. Maybe I'll talk about May AUs and their background since I'm too lazy to actually finish Commander Tails comic. Or even try to dub someone's Undertale X Reader fanfiction. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see anything like this. Or even suggest something else. Well, that's it for today, folks. I'm Emelin Striker, aka the Alpha Shoe. And remember, may the shoe be with you.